Today we have with us Joshua Richards, who's the CEO of Lace Glund Capital. Josh is a dynamic entrepreneur with a record of diverse and prolific accomplishments, known among his peers to have a keen business intellect. He wouldn't say that himself, but his peers would tell you, a keen business intellect and a natural ability to know where and how to progress an idea into reality and profitability. Josh is credited for being keystone in several business ventures that range from industry-changing high-tech startups to complex real estate ventures. Specializing in real estate, he has several thousand of entitled real estate units to his credit, several hundred units built, and a team that specializes in the management of complex real estate assets. In addition to real estate, he has an extensive background in the automotive industry and is currently leading a new company venture in next-gen electric motors for vehicles and autonomous parking structures in Lineal Motors. He is currently the owner of Bulwark Development Group, Wilderness Engineering, and Velos Industries, and has a diverse portfolio of high-value assets. He is a native of Ogden. His wife attended and graduated from Weber State, and we welcome him here today. Josh, thanks for coming.
How's that? Can you hear me? So when they asked me to do this today, I thought of everything that I'm involved in, and I thought, okay, I've got between 45 minutes and an hour. I thought, there's no way.
I'm just telling him to turn this one on so we can see what we're
Got it. And so I thought to myself, what can I give you that is going to be beneficial no matter what you decide to do, no matter where you take your business interest. If you want to work for somebody else, I'm hoping this is valuable. If you want to work for yourself, I hope this is valuable. But literally what I want to do is I want to take you on a little journey today, something that I haven't done for a little while for myself personally, but it's how I started. And it's how it taught me all the principles that I need to know today in running any business. And, you know, business principles, as complex as we like to make them, they're pretty simple, right? 2 and 2 equals 4. And if you spend 5, you're going to go broke, okay? Simple, right? Keep that in mind. The primary colors are 1, 2, 3. As soon as you overcomplicate your business model, you start to build in elements for failure. So I was accidentally successful at about 20 years old. What I did is I went out and I found a piece of real estate, a lot, and I said, I'm going to build a spec home right here. And so I found the best lot I could buy. That was my right mistake, number 1. I built the best house I could build in the best neighborhood. That was the best thing I could do on accident number 2. And then I totally lucked out, and I sold that to Julius Erving of the 76ers. He was once a famous basketball star, too. Those of us who would remember that, you would remember it.
I remember that.
So, Dr. J. So here we have Dr. J. He buys my place. And the interesting thing is I put everything into this place. So I want you to consider that I maybe went through some sort of a de facto interview, okay? By doing my best, I was going through a de facto interview with the city, with my lender, with Dr. J, and other people that were witnessing what I was trying to accomplish. Does that make sense? They saw that I was a 100% guy. And because of that, it opened other doors. So I built this house. I bought the lot for $250,000. My dad helped me with that. And I think his dad helped him with that, okay? It was an all-in scenario. My point is your business partners, they're probably people you know. This is probably not a new relationship for you. These are people you know, people your parents know. But what they saw in me was, okay, my interview actually started before this house, didn't it? Started at school. I was a good student. Started before that. I was an honest guy. I was a Boy Scout, right? I don't care what you think of the Boy Scouts, but I'm just saying, you know, your life is telling a story about yourself. And so in a de facto way, I had interviewed with multiple people and I didn't even know it. Now what becomes interesting is that interview, the interview changes because now there's money involved. So they helped me buy the lot. So I went with the lot and I went to try to get a loan. Any guesses on what I was told when I was asking the bank for a $1 million loan with no experience building a house? No. I was told no. I couldn't believe it. I had collateral, I had no experience, right? And the bank was saying, look, maybe there's something you can do to make us more comfortable. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna do something to make myself more comfortable. I'm just gonna leave, right? And so I left the bank and I started looking for alternative sources of financing. I'm gonna ask you a question. What is better? Is it better to get a 50-50 partner or let's say a loan, a high interest, we'll call it a hard money loan for 12 or 13 or 14 or 18%? What would be better? What's the answer? Partner at 50-50? I got one answer. 50-50? Depends. What does it depend on? What's your name?
Haley, but that's the answer they tell us to answer.
You do so well. And so, okay, it depends. What does it depend on? Anybody?
Who that partner is.
Oh man, who the partner is? Are they gonna make your life easier? Are they gonna make your life harder? If I'm gonna bring on a partner, I wanna know who that partner is. I wanna know a little bit about them, especially because guess what? I have just committed 50% of whatever my profits might be to a person that I may or may not know. So let's just look at this for a minute. Let's say I pay 18%. Let's go for the high money. 18% on a high interest loan. I've got collateral, and so this lender already has an interest in me failing or succeeding, or do they care? They don't care. They literally don't care. That's why they're charging a high interest rate, because guess what? If I fail, what do they get of mine? I'm putting up collateral now. Remember who helped me? What do they get? $250,000 lot, free and clear. So if I fail, they get whatever progress I've made with their money, and they also get my property. Okay, if I succeed, do they care about that? No. I think in general, they hope you succeed. There are some lenders we call loan to own, and they make it so hard with draws, they're slow. What would a draw be? Let me back up. A draw is what? A draw would be something I ask for. So let's say, okay, I go through the house plans. I have the house plans ready to go, and now I need to pour a foundation, footings and foundation. I'm going to my lender now for the check. Okay, lender, I need 50,000 bucks so I can pay these concrete guys. They're gonna give me a better deal if I pay them in cash when they get there. The lender's gonna be like, oh man, I don't know you very well, but okay, let's do it. Good lender, okay? Gives you the money, you pay them in cash, you get a pretty good deal, and now you're rolling along. Another lender says, you know what? I'm gonna need to see the plans, and I'm gonna need to see this and that, and I'm gonna need to see an inspection report. Well, let me tell you a few things here. If I'm ready to pour, it means I already have those things done, and the lender knows it. So this lender is being slow with me, a little bit obstructionist with me. So even though he's asking for things and sort of leading you along, do we have a good lender or do we have a bad lender? Bad lender. Okay, because they're pretending like they don't know a process that they've done 100 times, okay? They're a loan to own. You better be on your toes with this person, okay? So let me back up a little bit. So we're gonna do some math real quick, and I want you to write this down. We're gonna say 250,000 plus 1 million. Okay, and now we're gonna build a house that's 6,000 square feet. Now at the time, we were spending about let's say it's $120 a square foot, okay? Okay, now putting this $1 million number to the side for just a minute, okay? Because remember we have a loan for $1 million. What does that equal at $120 a square foot plus 6,000 square feet? Anybody do this? 1,320,000. So we got 1,320,000. We have a lot for how much? 250, and a loan for, so we're a little bit shy. That's okay, because we're going to make progress. Okay? So we go back and we start making progress. Turns out we've got a pretty good lender. So the cost of our home and the lot is how much together? Somebody said it. What's that? 1.32 for the hard construction, then we add the lot cost on top of that. Say it again. 157-ish. Okay, so I get Julius Irving knocking at my door. The house isn't quite finished. That's okay. Our lender's pretty flexible, and he's saying, if we go over a little bit, that's okay. Because we have an appraisal that says the house, once we finish it, it should be worth in the ballpark of, 1.8 or something. So the lender's feeling comfortable. All right, I'm gonna get my money back, and you're moving along. So Dr. J comes up, and total surprise to me, by the way. The house is nearly complete. We've hired good help. We've paid a little bit more than we wanted to, but in so doing, we've avoided a lot of personal pitfalls, right? I hadn't built a $1 million house before, but I hired somebody that had. And so in so doing, I avoided other costs that would have come up, mistakes in framing, mistakes here that we would have had to have fixed. So he comes up to me and he says, Mr. Richards? I said, yes. He says, my name is Julius. I'm thinking to myself, I've seen this guy on TV before, right? And his wife steps out of the car. He says, we're gonna look at your house. And we just like to ask you a few questions. They walk around the house and it's kind of interesting. And he says to me, there's some certain tells when somebody wants your stuff, right? They're looking at each other and they're not wanting to look at me so much, right? They want to give it away. Man, I got it. I so nailed these guys. And so they're looking, and I'm thinking to myself, I might make a little money on this deal. And so he leaves, talks to his wife in the car, comes back, he says, look, I'm going to make you one offer. And if it's not good enough, it's okay. We've been looking for houses for 3 years. He says, so I'm going to write this down, and if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. I said, look, Julius, I said, I know what I need out of this place. I said, if your number's not good enough, I'll let you know tomorrow after I do my math. So I'm not going to tell him anything. I'm going to give myself a chance to play poker face a little bit and maybe hit him back. And so he writes a number down. $2,500,000 is what he's going to offer me for my house. 30-day close. And I look at the number and I go, that's close. Well, I'm going to look at this for a minute and I'm going to get back to you tomorrow. Right? And inside, what am I thinking? Yes. Okay. And so, oops, I did it. Okay. That's basically what happened there. Oops, I made $1 million. And so, not quite, but dang close, especially when you're 20 years old, okay? And you're thinking to yourself, wow, I can go do that again. And who do I have to bring in this time? Do I have to go to my hard money lender? Did I split 50% with somebody? No, I didn't. I gave him $180,000, okay? So I went the route of a hard money lender. That's not always the route you would go. Sometimes you will take a 50% deal. As a matter of fact, I would say, don't look at your first deal like it's your last in any business venture. You have to be willing to look at the deal and say, you know what, I'm going to take a base hit. I'm going to take something to get me started. I'm going to do something that's going to get me in front of people. Because what did that do for me? Who did I get in front of at that point? Well, Julius Irving, he was happy with his house. And I thought to myself, a lot of people at that point would say, I'm going to take my money and run. Right? But I thought to myself, I'm going to see what else I can do to this place to get me a little more credibility with somebody that has this kind of notoriety. So there was a space at the side of the house, dirt lot, and at the side of the house, I thought to myself, I'm going to put in like a really awesome sport court right here, and I'm not adjusting the price on him, right? I obviously made enough to do this, and so I put like close to $100,000 into the sport court. At this point, we had never acknowledged that I knew he was a famous basketball star. I never acknowledged, I just pretended like I didn't know him from anybody. So when they came back 30 days later, ready to take delivery of their house and all the little things they'd asked for me to add, there was a sport court with a big 76ers logo in it, all of his MVP statuses around there. It was a real tribute to the career, not just NBA, but where he started, ABA. Everybody's got a soft spot in their heart from where they started. That's why you love your alma mater, right? And so you got a soft spot in your heart. So he comes and he looks at this and he looks at his wife and he puts his hands in his face like he's gonna cry. And he looks at his wife and said, "Did you do this?" And she said, "No." She points at me. Clearly, I knew who he was. Clearly, I wasn't going after him on the price. Clearly, I wasn't trying to take advantage of the situation because I knew he and his wife wanted the house. And that came home for him because clearly I didn't need to do that either. I didn't need to go the extra mile, but I did. Now, what does that mean? Would somebody say that was a good business practice? A lot of people would say no. In today's business, old school, hardcore world, they'd say, nope, you're going to protect that profit margin. In my world, I say yes. So Julius Erving then invites me to Caesar's Palace for the New Year's Eve party. And who's there? Like basketball stars and this and that. And he's showing pictures of his house. And then there's a party at his house 6 months later. And I'm at that party. And pretty soon, everybody wants who to build their house. Oops, I did it, right? And so my point is this, is the interview was going on from the time we conceived the idea to the time we went through to the time we sold the house, and we never failed the interview. We were just we tried to be genuine in everything that we did, right? I think that's so important. Your ability to be genuine is also going to be your ability to be successful, especially in the days of social media where so much of what you do is out in the open. You are an open book. Be genuine, be worth reading, okay? So today, I work on real estate that is far more complex. For example, I own Nordic Valley Ski Resort. That's one of our holdings. We brought some partners into that deal through relationships again, and we also own, we own lots of stuff. The point being is that the business principles we learned the first time are the business principles that we executed the rest of the time. We've got big plans for Nordic Valley. Anybody want to see kind of what we're doing? Let's see here. This is a little bit off the cuff, but I don't think it's going to be too big a deal. Nordic Les, governor. Let's go to the legacy. Okay. Okay, so with these first general principles of just being integral, we got into other ventures, clearly. I actually didn't build another multi-million-dollar house after that, even though I was asked to. I took my money and I reinvested it in land. One thing I learned is never put yourself into a situation that you put yourself into a rut, okay, where you're doing the same thing over and over again. If you're going to do that, go to work for somebody, okay, and be good at what you do. There's nothing wrong with that. Adding value to a company like mine, I can tell you right now, I've got about 350 total employees. When you come into my company on an executive level, it's not because of where you graduated, it's because of what you've done. It's this interview process that I like to talk about. I like to see what you've accomplished. They start at $150,000. I don't care how old they are. I don't care. I want to see somebody with some chutzpah. I want to see somebody that will take some initiative. Okay, and whether that's in the automotive tech or whatever, we've got lots of places at our company. So let's just say this. Let's say the people that volunteer today, I think to myself, somebody with a little courage. That's what I like. Somebody can come to me 5 years and be, hey, I went to your lecture. It was so awesome, Mr. Richards. I'm gonna be like, hey, I like this person, right? So Nordic Valley, this is not intended to go any place too deep. However, I think this is kind of fun. So new logo, it's all the same shape. You notice that? It just turned, so it makes an N and a V. That's my first IQ test. Okay, so just kind of showing what Park City used to look like and what Ogden Valley looks like. I'm going to kind of back up as we move forward. The canyons, when it was founded, Nordic Valley, when it was founded, sort of a comparison here. You know, both of these places, look at these crazy similarities, right? Yet, under the right leadership, boom, this is what happens at the canyons. Now, some people would say right leadership, some people would say, well, it maybe could have done a little bit better. I happen to be in the second category. I think sometimes going smaller is better. This is the building that I designed, literally with a pencil. So this will be the first building to go up at Nordic Valley. This has been approved. These are actual interiors of the slope side. You'll see this is going to be the location of this building. That's the mountain. And so we've got lots of room for expansion. A lot of people say, yeah, but the Nordic Valley is, sure, it's close, but the skiing, it sucks, right? I'm not going to argue with you. That's why I bought it. I see an opportunity here, okay? Because once you get past this place, the skiing's awesome. And I got all this to go. So I'm not buying Nordic Valley for what it is. I'm buying it because I see what it could be. And that's really the next part of this discussion. The lot didn't have a house on it when I got it. It didn't have a drawing. But what was it that made it valuable? Was it the fact it existed, or was it the ideas that went into it? It takes a little vision, right, to make these things happen. Sorry, I didn't realize we were doing this. Okay, so this is quick. And so you've got, you know, big areas being able to expand, blah, 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 blah. Some of the current terrain, these are things we're already doing there at Nordic. Let's see if I've got something worth looking at here. Isn't that a beautiful valley? It's just, why would I say it's better to go sometimes smaller, right? Why would we want to take away from the very thing that makes it awesome, you know, the quaintness of it? But with that said, there is a right way to do this. So I'm going to explain the fundamentals of Nordic Valley really quick. You have sort of an idea of how I think. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to explain to you the way I've taken the one idea from home building now into property and land development, okay? So I have a place that has gone bankrupt like 3 times. And then I walk into the deal and I go to the credit union and they're like, well, you think you know better? I say, well, I said, probably not. I said, it's probably going to go bankrupt again, so I really can't give you much for this place. What am I going to do? I'm going to go out there and tout, oh yeah, I'm going to make this place awesome. Well, the price just went up as soon as you start talking like that, okay? Watch what you say. So, no, is it awesome? No, it's not awesome. It's the worst. And I hate it. And I don't know why I'm buying it, but I'm doing you a favor and I'm buying it. So give me your best price. So I pick up Nordic Valley for $5.5 million. That's what I got it for. Pick the thing up, but what is it? It's 468 developable acres. What does that mean? So it has the zoning on it right now, zoning being the county's designation for your ability to put a certain product on the property. Like some zoning would say farming, which means you can farm. Some zoning is going to say multifamily, which means you can put, you know, higher density housing. This is a combination of open space, which means you can't do anything, and high density housing. For some reason, everybody missed that. Okay, that's valuable. But is it valuable sitting there doing nothing? Here's what you do. You put a plan together, you put it on paper, you go get your first entitlement done, and an entitlement means that we've got proof that something can be done on the property, which was why I got this building approved. As soon as this building was approved, now an appraiser looks at this property and says, oh, well, I guess you can get the entitlement. How many do we have? We have 438 units, meaning a place you could buy, a condo, a home, a whatever, over 460 some odd acres. So we're not talking high density, are we? A place an acre. Now, I'll put it all into a little more of a dense location on the property, but it's still the same. I'm going to get that number of units. Math time. So, I bought Nordic Valley for $5.5 million. I just had proven that I can put these units on the property. The evaluation changes dramatically, and all I had to do was pay an architect and walk this through an approval process. Powder Mountain, their raw land, what we call an entitleable lot. Oh God, do I really want to get into this? So I don't, I've decided. But here's what I will say is, let's say they have the same land and they can put, those units we were just talking about, for example. In Nordic Valley, they weren't worth beans at the time I bought this place. It was a failing ski area, right? But at Powder Mountain, that's not a failing ski area. Actually, they're doing fine, and they're putting in lifts. Pow Mountain. I love the Pow. And so their entitleable units are worth $80,000 a piece because they have proven that you can build on it and do this and that. So now the appraiser comes and looks and says, well, Powder Mountain's getting $80,000 a piece. Snow Basin, who knows what the hell they're doing. Cool, don't get me wrong, I love the basement, geez. I mean, give me a place to stay, right? And then you've got Nordic, and yeah, quaint, nice, Nordic, pat on the head. Hope you do well next year, Nordic, right? That's right, let's be honest, what it is, which is what I love about it, why we got a good deal. So, so here we have Nordic, we have 438 entitleable units. Well, see, the appraiser looks at Powder Mountain because an appraiser does something. He looks at the values around and says, well, that's what they're going for, so that's what you get. What is 80,000 times 438? 35 million bucks. So it took me 12 months, okay? It took me 12 months to get that building done and to get a new appraisal on the property. How much did my appraisal come in at? Plus an existing operation that I bought for 5.5. Oops. We accidentally made $40 million and we did it in a year. Real estate is so interesting because, and the reason I love it so much is because, number one, there's so much out there. Every single one of you can go out and find a good deal. Now, do you have to know what I know? Yeah, you do. But I'm telling you right now what I did. I found the property, I saw that it had good zoning, and anybody that wants to go to the lunch after or talk to me about this process, I'm happy to share it. I'm an open book, okay? But the fact is, I bought a property that had a stigma, something that had good zoning on it, and then all I did is prove the zoning. That's all I did. It took me 12 months. A lot of people would say it was a tough process because it took me more than 6 months. How many of you guys have made $40 million in a year, right? I'm going to tell you, it was something I thought could happen. And then when I realized it was going to happen and could happen, what I did is I bought a bunch of other properties. We own properties in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We own properties all over the place. And what we're looking for is we're looking for properties with a problem, some sort of stigma that other people can't see through. All I'm asking you is to find is some open land and some zoning. If you don't have the zoning, go find a city or a town or whatever that will allow you to change the zoning, because you can do that. Case in point number 2, and I'm going to move on. I went right after my house in St. George that I sold to Dr. J. I took that money and I bought a piece of ground that didn't have any zoning on it, right? It was farmland basically, but I bought it in Vernal, Utah. And the reason I bought in Vernal is because they had such a need for housing. So what's Vernal's deficiency? It's vernal, right? Vernal's deficiency is the fact that, well, it's vernal. And so everybody, they look over it. It's a problem. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Okay, it's a problem. But is there a demand? That's all I care about. If it was there, would somebody buy it? When you look at the market in Vernal, yeah, I mean, their rentals are $1,600 a month for like a 2-bedroom, whatever. Are you kidding me? That's what I paid in Rancho Santa Fe in California because there's nothing there. So the rates are incredible. Do I care what stigma the property has? I could absolutely care less. If I sold Nordic at 50% of its appraised value, do I lose? No, I don't lose, okay? So, but because this all started with a single project, and because I haven't done one of these for a while, first let me stop. Let me throw this out there. Who has a question at this point? You guys have picked this up. You guys are gonna go like, forget this guy. I'm gonna show him what's possible. Yeah, what's up?
Have you actually made that money, or do you have to sell in order to make that money?
Well, so that's a great question. We can actually draw from that money. What we do is we refinance, and we put all that money in a bank, and now I can use that for the improvement of the property. Because as I improve the property, the value does what? It goes up or down? Up. And so what I figure is as I expand, my $80,000 figure that Powder would get goes up to a $200,000 figure, to a $400,000 figure, like a Park City would get, if we do it right. So we spend our money wisely, okay? We don't eat our work, okay? If you work at a deli and you eat all your materials and there's nothing for somebody to buy, what's the point of that? You're gonna go broke, right? So we take that money. Now, did the salaries go up? Well, yes, they did. Do we give ourselves a bonus? Yes, we do. But at the same time, my intention is not that this is a $40 million on paper appraisal. My intention is to now develop it out, provide jobs for the community, uplift the entire valley is what we're hoping for. And that is, I think, so important that you keep the community in mind. If we were to build a 7 or 8 story monolith, would anybody like us no matter what it did? I wouldn't even like myself, right? So yeah, be mindful. Be mindful of where you are and what you're doing. Okay, yes?
Can you share a little bit about your research process, like how you're finding these properties?
Oh, what a great question. Let's do this. You can look for land, you can look for whatever. LoopNet is a great one. If I wanted to make $1 million, if I wanted to have a pathway forward to make $1 million, this is where I start, literally. Now what happens is you make these calls, and remember the interview process? The broker, the agent, they're listening to you. They know if you know what you're talking about. At this point, if I call anybody anywhere, they know I know what I'm talking about. And so they're gonna give me their best stuff. Pocket listings, things that aren't listed. Hey, look, buddy, if you have cash and you can do this quickly, then this person's willing to sell their land to you, and it's the best lot in the subdivision. Just make it happen, right?
So if you say you're gonna build the building, which you haven't built yet,
Right,
it's gonna increase the value to the 40 million, whatever it was.
right.
Don't you have to have some type of market study that suggests that you'll be able to sell the units that you're basing the loan on to build the units?
Excellent point. So what we do,
Because otherwise the bank would do it themselves, the bank would maybe do it because they don't want to be in the business of developing property.
you're right, the bank does not want to be in that business. So here's what we do. Here's my website, pinecanyoncondos.com, and you can go here and you can reserve yours today. So what an excellent question. So the numbers we have reserved, available units, blah, blah, blah. So we'd proven that we can get up to $700 a square foot for the best ones and less, you know, going from there. However, what we've shown is per square foot, we're getting more value than anybody else in Weber County. And so with that, they make a reservation, they put physical money into the escrow account, and we show that to the appraiser. Here's proof that we can do it. So, excellent question. And yes, that's how we do it.
And we built an assisted living building in Jackson Hole,
Oh,
but it was HUD money. And you had to prove that there was enough population density of people that were eligible to buy those units or to lease those units, so that you had a market. You couldn't just say, well, the market's nationally. So you have to have a bit of a market study to say, well, yeah, I've got 40 available. Are there 40 people in the county or within the market, et cetera? So it's a fairly complex process. It's a little bit costly, but not terribly costly, right?
you're right. So for us, it was a website setting up. I would say everything done, of course, after a $5.5 million purchase, which we did with cash at that point because of our other ventures. This is a growth process, mind you. The house, I could say the house, if you know somebody that can help you with the down payment, you can do that today. That's not a difficult process, especially if you know the pathway, it's not a difficult process. What we're talking about, definitely the next level and definitely a process you have to be more familiar with. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I think we should do something. I'm going to go off the script here for just a minute. I usually do this on my phone. And so, homes for sale, where are my filters? What I want is I want land. More filters. And then let's go. You guys are probably looking at this thing. It's right there. Just push that button.
Go up to the top where it says any property type. And see
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so we got, 2.295 for this thing. Where is this? This looks like it's in a neighborhood called the Bridges. I'm really familiar with Rancho Santa Fe. I actually do a lot there, which is why I'm going to look it up real quick, because I think I can show you something worth learning here. Let's make $1 million right now. And let's do it for fun. And I'm going to call some people and I'm going to give you their phone numbers as we go. You're going to have some of my contacts by the time we're done, and you're going to listen to how they talk to me and the questions they ask me to do this thing. Why not, right? You want to learn how to do it? Yeah. Let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, let's call our bluff. Okay, this is Del Dios Highway. This is great. So right out of the Rancho Santa Fe district, but you definitely get Rancho Santa Fe values. This is a subdivision called, you guys all ready to take your notes? I love it. This just got real. 749. Looks like these guys dropped this. 749. You can see I have not clicked on this. I do not know what I'm getting myself into. This could be a disaster. Okay, so 1.9. Thank you. Thank you. 749 acres. So I'm building a house in this subdivision right now, which is why I went straight to it in full disclosure, because I know the values here. So I have my own house. It's not a spec house. So I have a house that I'm building there. I have a few homes here and there nowadays. But my own house is going in here. And one reason I'm doing it is because I just looked at the value. If I'm going to build something, I want there to be some value there if I want to unload it, right? So in this neighborhood, I'm building a house. My house is almost 10,000 square feet. And it's got a detached guest house on it. It's got great views of the ocean. And it has an appraisal on it, an as complete appraisal for $5.5 million. That's my house will be worth when it's done. Now, I don't really care about that, but I don't really want to use my own money either. I'm using my money for other things, because remember what I talked about, don't eat your business, right? So I'm gonna go get a loan. Now I can go get a loan from whoever I want, right? And so I get a loan, go to the bank, build the house, and then I'll finance the house at a great interest rate. And I'm gonna be into this house, great. So the bank only has to give me 60% LTV, because I'll be into this thing about $3.5 million or so when I'm finished, okay? And so let's do the math real quick. If it's worth 5.5, the house square footage is actually 9,700 square feet total. Okay, so we're gonna take that and we're gonna divide that. We're gonna divide 5.5 from 9,700, and what do you got? 567? Okay, let's call it 570 just for fun. Actually, let's be conservative. Let's call it 550 just to be conservative. And so let's say we're gonna build a house in the same neighborhood, right up the street. That's what this is, okay? And honest to goodness, this couldn't have gone better, because this is a lot. Clearly, there's what they want me to see here. It looks like it's got approved plans, which is even better, because now we can look and see what it is. A great new price. I love hearing that. Rancho Santa Fe Cielo. It means, you know what, this isn't moving so fast. So this is Black's Mountain. This is gonna have, on a clear day, that's gonna have San Diego skyline views. That's a nice lot. Okay, 549, but it doesn't have a view of the ocean, so I'm gonna hit it a little bit. I'm gonna say, okay, 70-50. Okay, so we're gonna take a number. We're gonna take 70-50 and we're gonna times that by, let's say, $475. What is that? 3 million what?
3,348,000.
Okay, so I gave it a pretty good hit, and so we're just gonna say 3.5, okay? $3.5 million when we're all finished with this. So let's say we're into the lot, 700 and, well, it'll never be that. They just lowered their price. I'm getting this thing for 650. But let's just say we don't. Let's say we get it for 700, okay? That's conservative in my world, especially if you show up with cash. So let's say we need 700, and let's say we put $200 a square foot into the construction. And so 70-50 times 200 is, you know, we're gonna say 1.4, right? Plus 700,000, right? And so we're looking at 2.1-ish, okay? In general. Okay, we're into this thing 2.1 right now. How long have we been after this? 5 minutes online. 2.1, and what can we sell it for? 3.5. Our profit margin is 1.4. Okay, this is real world, guys. Okay. Let's just pretend I don't have the money to do this. Let's pretend I got to go to a bank. Let's pretend I go to a hard money lender. And so I'm going to call. If I was doing this in New York, I'd call Carl Smith. But because I'm doing this in California, I'm going to call Robert Long. You wish.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing, man?
Good. Let me, hey, give me about 10 seconds, I guess.
Man, I don't
Tie
got
the
10.
boat off. I'm on the sailboat, and I don't want the little boat floating away.
Tell me I staged this.
Ride back and a few here.
Hey, Bob, just real quick. I don't have a lot of time here. Can you, I got a place in Cielo. You know the house
back.
Hey, you know the place in Cielo that I'm building my house?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's a lot right down the street. Looks like I can get it for about $750 with a really motivated seller.
Right.
You know, I'd probably be into this thing with the lot and construction. About 2.1 million is all. Keywords.
Got it.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to come in and partner with me on this. Maybe let's do a 50-50 deal, split on the upside.
what's the timing? How much time we have to tie up the lot? What's the
Well,
You know.
let me tell you what they did. It looks like, or at least what they're saying online, who knows what the truth is. But it looks like they just dropped the price, and it looks like we've got they're asking $750. They just dropped the price. I'm thinking we pick it up for $7. If we do cash, it looks like they even have plans on the property. You know, in San Diego, and especially in Cielo, that's a big deal. And so time-wise, we don't have to go through the planning process because there's a house there.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
7,000 square feet. And the cost, being at 2.1, I'm feeling like, 7,000 square feet, plan's done. I'm gonna say, give it 12 to 18 months. No way it's gonna take 18 months.
Okay, what's market still, what we all think it is?
Yeah, I mean, the market's ready. Listen, if we can get this done in 12 to 18 months, even if the market started going down right this minute, it's not gonna go down 20%. I'm figuring on a conservative estimate, we're looking at a $3.5 million sale. And the fact is I'm going off of my value, but then I'm knocking over $100 a square foot off. And so it's more than conservative. Fact is, I'll probably get closer to 4 out of this thing. But let's just say we get 3.5. Let's say we're done with this thing in 12 to 18 months. And let's say I need from you, between about 30%. Let's say we get a 70% LTV.
What's the what do you think? What's the return?
Well, at 3.5, we're just going to turn and flip it, and so we're going to be splitting.
Yeah.
We're going to be splitting, over $1 million.
Right. How soon? I'm coming out of a couple of deals. What's the first you need the cash?
I need it tomorrow, Bob. How soon can you get it to me?
Well, I'd have to get off the boat first. No. How about? So maybe a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks.
That's a little much. I might have to call Carl. Is there any way we could do it next week?
I could. Let me shift. I can shift some things around.
Right on, man. Hey,
We ought to just go meet there and take a look.
hey, listen, Bob. Here's what I need. I need you to commit that you're going to do this right now because I'm afraid it's going to go away. If you can't, it's totally fine. But listen, Bob. I want you to do it. We've known each other for I don't know, a million years. Let's do this deal.
Yeah, I got some good news about 2 hours ago from the CPA. So for 2016.
All right.
So
we'll make make it happen.
I'm in.
Sweet.
Yeah, let me. I'll just shift some other stuff. I got a little flexibility on the other things I'm looking at. How about? Hey, what's happening with Nordic Valley?
Good stuff. As a matter of fact, let's do this. I'll be back doing my house next week. Let's go to lunch and let's go walk the lot. You want to do that?
Yeah. Just what day do you think that'll be?
I don't know. Make it Wednesday.
All right.
Cool. All right. Hey, look.
Okay.
I
Super.
got to go. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, see ya. Bye. Okay, so Robert, that's been a long time interview process. Okay, not everybody has a Robert Long in their pocket. I got several Robert Longs in my pocket because I've gone through it. I've done this for 20 years. Okay, interview process, so important. Now, I've known Bob for long enough that he knows if I call him for a deal, it's a deal. If I just say, look, I need you to invest, what did I ask him for? There's some numbers that were said that weren't said. I gave a percentage. I need 30%. Worst case scenario. I need 30%. If I twisted Bob, could I get more? Yes, he's Bob, and we love Bob, and we're gonna split this. It's gonna be okay. But what I'm showing you is I'm not pulling money out of my pocket right now, okay? This is gonna be a crapshoot. But Eric lends money on these sorts of deals. This may be a reach. Oh.
Josh,
Hey, what's up, dude?
how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Hey, real quick, I just need a real quick yes or no on your side. I'm looking at doing a house in Cielo. You know the house I was gonna do, it was gonna be a spec that I decided to keep?
Yes.
So right down the road, there's a lot for sale for $750,000. As you know, I spent $1,060,000 on mine.
Right.
$750,000 I think is a great price. I think they're motivated. I think they can do more. There's approved plans on this lot, so I think we're looking at a 12 to 18-month loan at most. The market looks good. I can't see it going down far enough to matter. And so I'm thinking we're looking at a $3.5 million as-complete appraisal, and I'm thinking we're looking at about a total cost of construction around 2.1, plus or minus. You guys have an appetite for that? Oh, did I lose it? You there?
Yeah. So you said it's a as completed 3.5, and the total build out's gonna be 2.1.
Ish. Yes.
Okay. 60. So you're looking for 60% LTV.
60%? How about 80%?
No. You gotta come in with skin in the game. I know we can do.
Meet me somewhere.
I think we'd be comfortable between 70 and 75, just because you already have another property in that division.
Okay.
So I don't see why we couldn't do that. With the seller, if you had taken that margin, would the seller be willing to carry back or no?
Well, I think I'd be willing to come in with 25%. So if you want to give me 75, I'll take it.
I think we do that. I can make a few phone calls. I'll need the property address. And then do we have, let's start with the property address. Let me do a little due diligence on that. I know we already have the BTO and appraisal on the first yellow property, so it should be a difficult task. When do you want to close?
I'd like to, why don't we say how fast can you close? Can we do it before 30 days?
How many tranches are you going to do on a drawdown?
Once a month. It's no big deal.
Okay, so 12-8. So you're thinking a 12, 18-month build up. Yeah, we could do, I think we could comfortably do between 2 and 3 weeks on that.
Cool.
Just because we already have, I'm going to take it back to Stabilis, since they already have, actually, I didn't remember.
Part I'm worried about is this verbose part. I'm going to try to wrap this up.
Since it's a quasi-bridge, it's 9.9, so short-term money with extensions. So I could take it either direction. They're already familiar with your other property.
Okay, you're thinking 9.9 on an interest?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll take it.
Yep.
Right on. Listen, we'll go over the details. I'll send you this. Give me a couple hours, okay?
Beautiful.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks for business.
Yep, see ya, bye. He's thanking me. Okay, so Eric, that's Eric of Peabody and Chase. That's an important number to have. Let's say you had a property. Let's say you had something you wanted to do, okay? Eric is a great guy to know. I'm not going to give you Bob's number. Bob's my guy.
Well, explain for both me and everybody else. You've got two people in the deal now,
Thank you.
all right?
Yep.
What is each of their roles vis-a-vis your role, et cetera? Because I think it might be lost. People that haven't done real estate deals, you got a loan, where you're 25% into the loan, what's the loan for? And the other guy's sharing in the upside, he's putting money in. Where's that money coming in, and what's the loan? So people sort of they know what to structure the deal.
This,
You're already 5% ahead, right?
Right. So here's the deal. So we have Bob coming in with 25% of the money. So what I did is I'm structuring this. So what am I going to make? Honestly, what do I even care? I care, clearly, but am I willing to share this? Sure I am. And why am I willing to share? What do I have into it? I have a couple of phone calls into it, okay? And so I'm willing to share. So we're going off some things. Now, there's more that has to be done. It wasn't as easy as we just showed, because now we have to get an appraiser to come in. But that's why I went low. I know that appraiser is going to come in at close to 500 in that neighborhood for what I know the values are already. But that's the other piece that you have to understand is I know this neighborhood. I know what the values are here. And I know you can do this here. You can't do this in any neighborhood, okay?
Can you build it there for 200 square foot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the builder that's on my house right now, actually quite a bit less than 200. So I throw out numbers that are high. Great questions, because there's things that are going on in my mind that I need to express. Okay, so I know I can hit that price. I've got the money from Bob. What's Bob going to split with me? The upside, whatever that is. Bob's sophisticated. Bob knows full well I'll go out and get a loan. Anything under 12% for construction is a pretty good loan, especially when you're doing a spec home. For your own home, it's not a good loan, okay? But for a spec house, that's a great loan. So 9.9% is what he's asking. He didn't even say he was going to charge me points, which would be an additional cost. And so here I am, 9.9% of the cost of our money. I've got money going in, and so whatever is left over on that house, let's just say the interest is going to leave us with $1 million. Isn't that what I told Bob? Bob, what if we split $1 million? So I got to pay Eric. He was asking me about a draw schedule. Remember what I talked about the concrete at the very beginning? When do you want your money, Josh? Once a month. Okay, I'll let everybody know we're looking at once a month. We're going to cut paychecks. So he gives me the money once a month. Bob, he's in it for the ride. Bob is a low maintenance partner. And so what did I ask at the very beginning? Partners or banks? Well, if you can have both, right? If you can have both, it actually got less expensive, didn't it? Sure, I'm going to split this with Bob. But now the pressure is off, okay?
Would you say Bob's putting in half?
Bob's putting in, well, 25% of the total cost.
So if I get it right, and your total cost is going to be $2-something million?
2.1.
2.1.
So
You're
Bob's,
going to borrow 75% of the 2.1,
correct,
and you're going to leave 25% of you and
Bob,
Bob's money.
yep,
Of that 25%,
That's
Bob's
correct.
in for 25%.
right.
So that's the structure of your deal.
Plus Eric.
No, Eric's not
Yeah,
putting any
Eric's
money in.
loaning.
Eric's loaning 75% of the cost of construction.
Eric's a bank.
So
Bob's a partner, Eric's a bank.
Bob's a partner in the down payment, the 25% that Eric's not lending. Eric's lending the balance, but he's not lending it all right now. He's
No.
paying it out over a year.
And so it's
And
worth it
At
to
the end
him. Mm-hmm.
of a year and a month, if you have a good buyer, you sell it in 30 days, you're happy. If
Absolutely.
you don't sell it in 30 days, now you're stuck with paying 9.9% interest, or you refinance.
Perfect.
Based on the new appraisal.
Yes,
This is my first rodeo, right?
yes. Right.
And you get, now, I'm guessing, because you're probably gonna be fully collateralized, is Eric gonna lend you no recourse money, or is he gonna have?
No recourse money. Yes,
You
that'll,
have money for no recourse.
Yes.
You're doing a commercial project. This one, you're gonna get recourse.
well, it's going to be the lot. It's going to be whatever money we put into it. So it would be a limited recourse. And so if we lost, if there's a chance that we lost on this, we're going to lose that 25%. Now, this is the interview process. Bob knows that full well. I've known Bob for 15 years. He knows how it works. It's not his first rodeo either, right? So Bob gets it. Bob also knows that I'm not going to put us into a stupid loan. Eric also knows that I've got enough value in this thing. If I have to cut the price on this 500 grand, remember, in my mind, we're already low. This $1 million profit margin, that's low. I think we're $1.5 million, maybe more. If I've got to cut this price by 500 grand and move it, did we lose? Still. No. Now, let's say this is post recession talk now. The market can move by 30% like that, right? what do I have? It's something that we didn't talk about, but what do I have as far as our margins here in this house? Do I have at least 30%? The answer is yes. I don't want to do a deal of this size without taking into account some history, okay? What has happened? Because if we walk away with nothing but our money back on a deal like this, and we've seen the market just crash, if you see a plane crash and your loved one walks out missing an arm, are you relieved or are you ticked? You're relieved, okay? Okay, sometimes that happens in real estate. You have to understand that. Right now, the markets are good, and so you can do this. Look, I've got to wrap this up. What I can tell you is this, is what I just demonstrated to you holds true across real estate. It holds true across other businesses. It holds true all across the board. You can look at value this way. You can look at partners this way. Whatever business you're going into, and I sort of wish I had a little more time, right? But the fact is because I'd love to hear some of the things you're thinking or wanting to go into, because we can really steer you and really help you. Know who the lenders are. Peabody and Chase is a great lender. They don't just lend on real estate. They're a broker, which means they know multiple lenders for multiple things. Eric is a great resource. These are people that we've weeded out over decades. But basically, we took you through the process. We showed you some principles. We're showing you that we haven't done it once. I've done this many times now. But I don't do it on houses anymore. Well, I might be now because I've put the candy out there for the sake of the class. Maybe you have me back next year and say, did you lose or did you win, right? And I'm happy to come back and see how we did on this house. So we've...
We'll all meet at the new house because that's 12 months and he's going to have it done by now.
Absolutely. Hey.
Realtors tour.
I said 12 to 18. Now, don't hold me to it. He's talking like my bank now. Okay, look, thank you. Thanks for listening to me go on and on about real estate and how to do it. Thank you.